And now, Coast to Coast RIA
just Google your name again.
presents the Experts Corner with Pete Asmus. Now get ready to go make something happen, because in this series, it's all about actionable information with different experts, strategies, and solutions from around the country. You won't be able to help but catapult your life into a new direction. So get ready, because we are about to begin.
And now from coast to coast, your host, Pete Asmus.
All right, here we go, and we are in April 22nd. Man, can you believe it's April 22nd already?
Yeah, I have to buy a present. Chelsea's birthday is on Friday.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, then, yes, you do have to buy a present. She would be very upset if you didn't. So we've got April 22nd on the Experts Corner with Pete Asmus, and today Justin Velthoen is my guest, and he's kind of like become our anchor here for every other week, pretty much. Next month, he's only going to be on once because it's kind of a crazy month, and then after that, we'll be back to 2 months or 2 weeks, 2 times a month again. I absolutely love these webinars. Especially this one with Justin, because it's so cool. Every time I feel like I get to show a little bit about what I'm doing, he's teaching about what he knows and does on a daily basis. But at the same time, everything that we're teaching you guys is all actionable information. It's all stuff that we're doing on a daily basis to grow our brand and to grow what we do. And so, it's very key that if you want to be found, you want to be found the right way. You want to be found, if you want, for instance, I saw that there were a lot of Google words, right? And when we were looking at tagging and words to tag keywords, I realized that RIA group was something that a lot of people were looking up. So when I saw that, I think back in December, I started adding that keyword RIA group to every single or RIA chapter or something like that to every single one. And now when you type that up, we pop up and populate, because I wanted to be sure that, look, wherever it is that people are looking to get involved in RIA groups, I want to be there. I want to be there right up at the top, number one. And I think when you Google like National RIA or something like that, or REIA, if you Google RIA, I think we come up as number 2 or number 1, something like that. That's
sweet.
It's pretty cool though. You know what I mean? So, Justin, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this with Justin because for me, I've known Justin for a little over a year now. He is one of just the most, consistent people that I know. A lot like Ivan, where very mellow, but very determined and moves forward, like just steady, moves forward steady. And he's been in SEO. He's been in the, building websites. He built our website, which I think is an amazing website, man. I get blown away every day when I'm looking at it. And then I look at some other people's websites and I love ours. Ours is, for me, it's fun, but professional. It's easy. It's accessible. And I think that's one of the biggest keys is, are people going to want to move around on your website? You know what I mean? If they don't want to move around and they jump off, that's a bad sign. So you've got to make it intriguing. And all the things that I do when it comes to online marketing all goes back to different things that Justin has told me over the last year. And so if I wanted anybody to come out and help me and to honestly to teach, I wanted it to be Justin, because everything he's done has just been like above board, and not even just above board. I mean, just above average. It's all been amazing. And he really helps, and he really gives back, and he cares about what he's doing. And that honestly is the biggest thing to me. It's about the pride and ownership. It's about making sure it's right every time, not just once in a while, but every time. And, he slapped my hand for doing things wrong and said, no, you got to do it like this. And at first it pissed me off because it took me a lot longer to do. But then I figured out, did you see, by the way, that we have did we talk about this last time for WordPress, the duplicator that I have now?
The duplicator.
For the posts?
Oh, so you copy the post and just changed all the pieces?
Do you remember the problem that we had in the beginning where I said every time I copy the post, I copy and paste it, I'd lose everything out of it. It would drop everything. And so then you had me paste it in on the board, like
Notepad?
Yeah, exactly. Still did the same thing, right? It took Sean, who was tired of reposting and then having to fix them, because there would be the same guest. Jillian is on every Tuesday or every other Tuesday. And so he got tired of every Tuesday he'd have to redo it, even though it was like consuming 5 minutes of his time. But when you add it up 5 minutes over a year, you know what I mean? Two Tuesdays a week, it didn't need to happen. So now we have this thing where I hit copy and repost or something, and we can show that later. And it takes the entire thing and copies it. So all of the art, all of the spacing, all of that stuff stays intact, which now saved me 2 hours a day. I mean, like literally 2 hours a day when I'm posting up the radio shows and the motivational videos that I do every day. Reposting those would take me, I shaved 2 hours off of that. Reposting the daily motivational videos takes me about a minute and a half. All I have to do is, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy because I can do it super quick now because everything else is all formatted the right way.
And as you're copying, I love was it the last one we did where you showed me how you were copying like from your old video into the timeline of your new video, and so you didn't have to reinvent the wheel each one.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And they have the same look and feel, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that, I think when you're talking about WordPress, that was a add-on that I would have died for. I mean, I didn't even know existed. And so these are some of the little things that I want to bring to people on these shows is show them, hey, you know what? Here's what you're doing. If you're using this product, here's something that can really help you. Lead pages, same thing. I use it honestly, almost every day. Infusionsoft, all these different things. And you know, that really ties into something that we want to end up creating, which is, if you guys are interested, we are going to create a video series that you guys can get. And it'll be everything from how to create videos, how to edit videos, how do I film videos? Why do I film videos the way I do? Why do I do them in my car? You know, little secrets that literally I haven't told anybody because I didn't really want the competition, honestly, because my videos are very unique. And later on, we'll show you the first video. I queued up the first video. Justin asked me to, and then we'll show you today's video. And you guys can tell me if you think there's any kind of differences between the first one and the one that we just did, just a little bit. But with that, I'd like to turn this over to Justin. Justin, just give us a real quick background on who you are again. I mean, most of these people probably know you, but the reality is this is going to be out there on a podcast forever. So 2014, somebody could be, well, okay, hold on. 2018, somebody could be listening. It is 2014. Somebody could be listening to this, and I want to make sure they know who you are too and why they should be listening to what you have to say.
Sure, yeah. And we actually have a few friends on here today, so they're probably pretty familiar with me, but anybody who isn't, my name is Justin. I do all kinds of things IT related. I started out swinging a hammer. I actually grew up doing construction. My dad fired me and said it's time to go out and learn about computers. So I did. I decided computers were cool, but I wanted to move up. So I got an MBA, and in that MBA, I had a professor who was pretty convinced that Facebook was not going to amount to anything, that nobody was going to use it. It's not worthwhile in a marketing sense. It's for business. It's just a toy. So I set out to prove him wrong. At the time, my girlfriend/fiance was a flight attendant. So I got free flights wherever I wanted to go. And as you know, there's conferences everywhere, every day. So I just had to pick a destination, pick one, fly out there, and talk my way in, even though most of them I couldn't afford, but I could talk myself into the floor so I could go meet all these people. And I did. I met a bunch of really cool people, some of the thought leaders in the industry, and then I went out to Zappos, met Tony Hsieh, got to see like how everything worked there at Zappos and why they did what they did and what made them so cool. And I came back and actually showed my company. The company I worked for at the time didn't believe in any of this stuff. They had a Flash website, and those of you who are familiar with websites know that Flash is like the anchor on the internet right now, and it has been for the past 5 years. It's not good. So their entire website is in Flash. What?
Apple hates Flash.
Yeah, everybody hates Flash. Like, it doesn't work in anything anymore. So ditch Flash. There's so many better options. If you need that type of,
doesn't work in anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think even Adobe's given up on it. So yeah, that should say something. Microsoft built a comparable product called Silverlight, and they've ditched that. Everybody just said, you know what? Now we have the tools to do all of this stuff with regular programming language. We don't need this stupid thing that Google can't index. So let's just do it right and make it easy for everybody. So that's kind of the direction everything went. So I actually built a test site in WordPress, and we got it set up. It was on like some dummy domain. I put just like my school papers up so they could see text and images. And then one day there was an ad that like we got focused on a news thing, and so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to embed the video. So at kind of the front homepage of the site that I mocked up for them, it would look like this is what your website would look at. Well, I got a call. This was on Saturday when they got featured, and I saw it, so I embedded it Saturday. Right. On Sunday, I got a call and was told to take it down because my dummy site that I was trying not to get ranked for was outranking our website for the same thing. So, and then they still didn't want to go that right. So
wow.
I just went off and just started helping other people. And it's like, all right, well, if you don't want to do it right, then I'll find other people who do.
And you've actually built a successful consulting business now. I mean, now, you know, really going after your dreams, going after what you wanted to do, focusing it down, you've actually really kind of achieved where you wanted to be, right?
Yeah, I get to help a lot of people, which is a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, it's really exciting to me to work with people who are starting a business, who are in a business, and they're moving up to that next step. So I do consulting mainly around supply chain. A lot of it, you know, we do around internet marketing and how to get those people in, you know, that first piece, and then the other side, the fulfillment on the back end for physical products and goods and things like that. So I love working with people, seeing how different people approach different problems or the same problem in different ways, and it's exciting. It's really fun.
Okay. And if well, no, okay, that's good. That was a good, I don't know where I was going to go with that, so I'll stop talking at this point now. You go. Cool. All right, keep going. You're doing good.
All right, well, let me take this and we'll just move this back into into this guy. Can everybody see this? Is this too small?
As long as you have your grandma's glasses on that are about this thick and we can see really small words.
Man. All right, let me blow this up.
Is anybody an eagle out there with 20/50 vision? Any of you? Any of you out there? That's what we're looking for. Go ahead. Now I can see it.
Okay, cool. All right, so first part, get out a pen and paper. I do recommend taking notes, but what I really want you to do is take down ideas. When you hear this, there's some things that might be a note, but really, we can give you a PowerPoint presentation with all this on it, so you don't need to take down everything that you see. Take down the idea of, hey, I see how this can work in my business, and this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, or even tonight. You could be doing this tonight. I mean, a lot of this stuff is pretty straightforward.
Right now, hang up the phone and go do this. Yeah. All of a sudden, everybody drops off the call, and then they're like, "Wait, hold on. What are we supposed to be doing?"
Yeah, so maybe at 7 o'clock. Maybe
right. Then get excited.
7:10. Do this.
That's right. Because there's no point in waiting. Like, if you want the results now, do the work now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, yeah, definitely drop in. Let's pay attention and see what we're doing. Just to recap, we went into kind of what SEO is, which is search engine optimization. That's how to make your website so it gets found by Google. And my personal take on that is that let's maybe not focus so much on how to get my website found by Google, but how to help people the most, better than anybody else out there, because that is the key to getting found by Google. There's all these tricks, all these gimmicks, all these like how-tos and all this crazy stuff that you can do, and that works fine for now. But what we've seen time and time again is Google changes its algorithms because they want to provide the searcher with the absolute best content that they can. And the only way to do that is to continually provide information that a searcher is searching for, more than your peers, more than your competitors, new and better ways. We have somebody on this call who is doing, taking this outdated, crazy industry, and she's flipping it on end and just going at it with a social aspect, which it's kind of crazy, but I think it's awesome, and I think it's going to work like gangbusters.
The Bunny Ranch
I think it's going to explode. What was that?
The Bunny Ranch in Vegas. We have somebody that's you said the oldest. Oh no, I'm sorry, you didn't say the oldest
Not the oldest, just a really old, like
Okay.
old crazy
All right, now I
crotchety
got you.
guy.
I just had to, man, because I was gonna say, wow,
Bang.
that is impressive. If somebody is coming out of the box, you know what? I think what would really be good for the industry. Yeah. All right. No, that you know what? The other thing is that I liked about what you said was helping people. Um, I think a lot of times we're trying to find that shortcut. And we talked about this last time,
Yeah.
but the reality is the shortcut is the right way. I'll show you guys when we go on to onto my YouTube account. I'll show you I have 4 videos right now that have been deleted. They were deleted, I think, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago or something, because when I brought on the first assistant that I had, she had this great idea that she knew somebody in Thailand or somewhere that could help get us, all these views and they'd be amazing. And so all of a sudden the next day I had 11,000 views and then 12,000 views and then it was deleted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what just happened now? What I had a bunch of views and Google went, you know what? If you're going to play that game, I'll go ahead and rip the thing out of here and I won't let you play it. The problem with that is I don't have that video anymore. So now that video is gone. I mean, the moment that happened, I put the e-brake on that. I'm like, look, I don't care if there's 5 people that watch the thing. Like, it doesn't matter to me, and I think that is what has made it grown. And I still have no clue how to really get those likes up because I get more views on Facebook than I do on YouTube. And I'll have, before, it was the weirdest thing. I don't understand how they metric any of this stuff because I would have comments. I would have 10 comments below the video talking about stuff in the video, meaning they had to have watched it. I would have 15 likes on the video, right? And then I go to YouTube and I'd have 1 view. And I'm like, man, this doesn't even make sense. This is impossible for this to be that way. And then basically I had to just say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me how many so-called views they're saying. It's only a way to measure it. Really what I'm going to see is by the people that I impact, by people that are responding back to me. And that, since we've been doing these, that has gone way up. So I know the fact is, I know people are watching it. I hear people constantly saying, man, I see your videos every day. They're motivating me. My daughters watch, every day. And it's like, man, okay, so if I have all these family, you know what I mean? Like, why would somebody reach out and just lie to me? So certain things I think you have to do because you want to do. And I want to motivate people on a daily basis. So I do it regardless if I get paid for it or not. And that's kind of what you were talking about you want to really go out and help people. And when it becomes about helping people, all of a sudden, Google is going to start tracking that, oh man, he's helping people. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be effects that happen because of it. People are on your site for longer. They're clicking links on your site. You're getting referenced on other sites. And all this is happening organically because you're helping. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you're gonna find like there's people out there that were doing the games. They played it just perfectly. They got it dialed in perfectly. So they were just getting mad traffic, and they built a business off of Google. Well, then Google changed, and all their eggs were in that one basket, and then they either got shut out completely or dropped down to like a third of their income, third of their traffic, a third of their income. And that hurts. I mean, you plan on that one paycheck, and then nose.
Oh yeah, it'll stop you in your tracks.
Yeah. So they got faster, higher faster, but then they plummeted way faster. It was a cliff. Whereas if you do things right, it might take longer, but you're rock solid. You're there, and you're continuing to be there, and it's a snowball effect. You're going to do a little bit, and then next week there's a little bit more, the week after that a little bit more, and it's going to be hard to tumble you down if you got all these people saying, no, this guy's legit. They're like, I need him, in my newsfeed. I need him to show up because This is something that I'm interested in. And that goes back to the homework for that week 1. Just like I don't know if you remember the Newlywed Game back in 2 and 2.
Yes.
Remember that?
2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Yeah. So in this one, it was the 5 and 5. So we have to do 5 frequently asked questions. Those 5 questions that somebody comes up to you every time you get on the phone call, every time you talk to somebody. What are your hours? How much does it cost? Like, what can I get out of this? What are your classes? What any of those things. Those 5 things. Nail those down, and that's your post. Like, you don't have to think of anything. Start doing those as your featured posts. put those out there, make a video about them, do something to talk about those 5 things and answer those 5 questions. So now somebody goes to your site, they have those questions, they're already answered, so yeah, they're more likely to become a customer because they're not sitting there going, yeah, but I don't know if they do this or if they do that or if it's too much or if it's too little, or they don't know if they fit in. But if you answer those right off, you're golden. And then the extra step, the extra 5, is the should ask question. So what you want to do is say, every time somebody comes up and they ask me these other 5 questions, but what they really should be asking are these 5 questions. And I gave the example of my dad, who's in construction. So for him, there was a lot of questions about how much is it going to cost, how much time is it going to take, things like that, and where he could talk about job, project, scope, those types of issues. But then when you get back, the things that they should be asking are you licensed and bonded? Like, what have you done previously? Things like that. And, do you have experience doing tenant improvements? Do you work with steel studs?
I was just going to say you have experience.
Yeah, yeah. So these kind of things that if you put it out there right off the bat, then the people are like, oh, wow, I didn't even think to ask that. That's a really good point. Like, hey, I just looked at this other guy's website. He didn't say anything about that. So do I need to contact him? Like, does this other guy do that? And so it's just basically feeding everybody with the information and getting everybody what they want to know and what they really should know, and making you look like the head of that industry because you know all the different things about it. And if you get somebody that comes to your site debating whether or not they're going to add you on or take you on as a coach or a teacher or buy your product, that's going to be a huge influencer.
Okay. I was letting you go. See, I
was just waiting for you, Pete.
No, so I have a tendency sometimes to take over things. So I figure, you know what, when when you're talking, I will mute and black out so that way the focus is on you, right? Unless I hear something and then I can't help it, and then I've got to jump in and say something. But I didn't.
No
so
problem.
That's why I'm being good, man.
I actually do the same thing. So I'm trying to get better and to stop and let people ask questions because I get excited and get on my roll, and it's hard to step down. Cool. So
let's talk about week
into
2.
Week 2, we talked about what problem you solved.
Go ahead.
So what problem you solved? Somebody has a pain point that they're working on, and then we talked about Steve and that avatar, that person that embodies everything that you're looking at. So it could be, really breaking it down into, how old they are, what magazines they read, the social events they go to, where do they hang out.
This is the one really that we talked about Facebook, right? We were talking, we were going into Facebook and like going into those ads, super. Now that didn't get recorded, so I would love, if we have time to go back into that aspect, I'd love to redo that one as well. At least
that's actually a really good idea. Yeah, because that is super awesome, and I go over that with everybody I talk to. It's like, go into Facebook because it will tell you your numbers. So if you're thinking, why aren't people coming to my place, my workshop, my office? It's because they don't know about you. First question is, how many people that fit this profile of Steve? How many of those people are out there in the world, or even in your local area? You can limit it to your local city, and then find out, okay, if I really narrow it down and bring it down to like just Charger fans that are male between 24 and 34, and all of that. How many of those people can I get in front of? Yeah. Then find out what Steve's looking for, what problem he's trying to solve himself, and then how can you make it so simple that Steve looks at it and it's Homer Simpson simple that he can do it, he knows he can do it. It's really easy and it makes sense to him. So getting all that put together. So I should go into the toys as well. So this one we talked about Hootsuite, which is a really great tool to automate all your social media. We'll go over what accounts to set up and what that looks like. But Hootsuite is a really great tool so that you can time it too. So you can bulk load everything on Monday, and so you're not doing it all day every day, which is what I see a lot of problem with. And one of the reasons I got into this is I'd go to these real estate meetings and I have my website up and ready to go, and I had all these people that well, I'm building a website, I've got my Facebook up, but I spend like 2-3 hours a night and nothing's happening. It's like, well, no. It's all you're doing is Facebook. You need to get out and do business.
Get in front
Back
of
here,
them.
we did Evernote. Dude, Evernote saves my
Is
life.
Evernote, that's like iClipboard too, right? I think
Uh,
Evernote, isn't that the yeah, that's the elephant on the front, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, they
it's
do. They do.
awesome.
If you have a Mac, they do iClipboard, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's one of the biggest things that I use on a daily basis. Because when I do those posts, I'll have to copy 4 or 5 things, and I'd be going back and forth and back and forth. And with iNote, I can go clip, 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 and then go into my post and go drop, 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 and I'm done.
Well, that's more. It sounds like almost like a clipboard managing. So
You can
it's
do
like
10.
where
Yeah, you can have
where you
10
copy.
saves on it.
Okay, yeah. Evernote is like literally everything I've looked at for the past 4 years. If I thought it was cool online, I just save it to Evernote, and it just went downloaded the article, saved it to Evernote with a link back to the article. So if I ever want to go back, I can reference it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty amazing. Phone, tablet, browser, yeah, it's awesome. And then what you're looking at now is Xmind. This is a mind map program that really helps me put all my thoughts out, rearrange it however makes sense, and kind of keep tweaking with it. And then if you buy the full version, you can export to PDF and Microsoft Word, which is great because let's say you have an idea for an ebook, which is a really great way to show that you're a thought leader in the industry. Then what you do, map it out here, export it to Microsoft Word, and it already has your titles, your headings, and everything based off of this would be your title, this would be your heading, these would be your subheadings, and you just fill it in as you go.
You mean you
So
could make that like the chapters?
yeah, it exports like chapters. Let me see if I can't move this out of here so I can
Oh
show
man,
you.
that is so cool because I'm writing
Yeah, see this?
my second book right now. Yeah.
So put it all here and then just export. Boom. That's your hierarchy in your book.
You know, I've wanted to make, well, okay, that's a rough way. I found mind maps like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right? MindMeister is the one that I did.
Hmm.
And they had a free, MindMeister was free. You can have 2 mind maps on it and this and that. And I got so excited when I found it, right? But then nobody else would play with me on the thing. Like nobody else would want to look at it or do anything. So I was like, oh, this is stupid. And now that we're doing this again, and I've got the Thinking to Succeed project and the 21-day challenge, I'm gonna get them into using mind maps. I'm gonna have them start doing these because I think these are so awesome where you could really feed off of an idea and go, okay, if we have the idea here, how can we blow apart from that? You know, what about over here? And what about, because everybody always has these ideas, but how do they actually tie together? And with these, you can
Hmm.
draw lines and, you know, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah. So I dig Xmind just as a personal preference, but I tried MindMeister and I really liked that one as well. It just ended up, this one was free and that one was, I think it was like $10 a month at the time. It was like, eh.
Right. But okay, so can you do as many as you want on this one and you can PDF it and everything for free?
The PDF I think is $70,
Okay.
something like that. So you buy the license for it. But the problem is, where MindMeister, you can use it on your phone, your tablet, anywhere you go.
Right.
It's like Microsoft Word. It's like a document. So
Okay.
you
So
have
I
to
think
use your
MindMeister
computer.
then probably will work better for, especially for
Yeah,
a large group, right? Because then the cool part
collaboration.
about that, exactly. Now you can have 15 people jumping on that mind map and changing things and altering things and working. Everybody can be literally working there together. And you all of a sudden you're talking and then click, click, and it's over here. And you're like, what about that? You know what?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. And then you could take it over. And I mean, it's just a really cool way for everybody to work together at one time.
Yeah, and Evernote actually did that too, where you can share a notebook with other people. So you can have a notebook for your book and have everybody that's collaborating on it, like have different chapters, and each person can be posting in, and you can keep tabs on all of it. And yeah, it's pretty cool. You can do a
Man,
lot
that
with
gives me
Evernote.
another idea. Totally. Okay.
All right, well, we'll keep going. That's why I call them toys, because it's always the most exciting thing. All
Man,
right, so the next one is fighting and creating content.
that was last
And
week's.
that was last week, and man, if you missed that one, I feel sorry for you because
That was
that was like a 2 hour.
It was awesome, man. It was,
Yeah.
and that's what people don't get is that we always underpromise and overdeliver. I mean, I guarantee you, this will not be an hour webinar. It just won't be. They're always going to be anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours because we want to give you a ton of information. And you know, we don't want to stop and be cut off in the middle of making a great point. And you know what I'm saying? So we'd rather really dig in and give you as much as possible.
And really, this one piece right here, I mean, this is the goal. This is like kind of everything all at once. And so if you have not seen it, go back, watch the recording of it. It is absolutely worth your while. This is where everything's at. I'm sure we'll cycle back through it and hit this again and again and again, but this is really where it's at. This is bringing the content in using a RSS reader, and don't even worry about what that stands for. It doesn't mean anything. Just go to a program called Feedly. So I'll show you that.
Feedly. Okay, I'll stop talking.
Yeah, if anybody does know how to sing, they can like log in and sing over Pete. But,
okay.
So this allows me to follow hundreds of articles. So yeah, I couldn't tell you how many news sites I follow, but there's a lot, a lot. And all you do is just go into home, say I want to add something. Pete, give me a topic. Last time we did Atlanta, give me something new.
Let's do challenge, like the 21-day challenge, right? We've got Pete Asmus's 21-day challenge.
Okay, so that would be motivation.
Motivation. Well, it's a goal challenge.
If you type it correctly, it's even better.
What's that?
If you type it correctly, it works even better.
It's weird how that works,
type in motivation, right? And then here's all the websites that are about that. So and it tells you how many are reading it. So this one has 10,000 readers. So okay, and this one has 10,000 readers. Gives you kind of an overview on this website. Now, if we go to this website, we can actually see what it's like. Open up in the new tab. But really what we're doing is instead of going here and checking every day to see what's out there, you can just follow it on Feedly and say, okay, you know what, I want a new one, so I'm going to call it motivation, right? A new group. I'm going to add it. Okay, so here's my motivation category. I'm just going to go through. I use a single keystroke, and okay, that one's cool, that one's cool, that one's cool. You know what? Okay, I want to open this, take a look at this, and I'm going to say, okay, I like this one, so I'm going to go here to, oh, here's my Evernote. I wonder if it's connected. So this will take me a second to get connected, but you just go through and you can save this to your Evernote account, so you can make this as a note to yourself. So when you're creating your article, for this particular keyword, you have all this stuff to research and go back and forth on. So that was part of it. The other part is what we call content curation, and that is where, just like the Huffington Post, right? The Huffington Post, if you look at it, almost everything that they do is a link to another article. They found something somewhere else, they rewrote something about it, added a little bit to it, and then shot it out as a new article on their site. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're going in here, found a keyword, followed a bunch of stuff here, and then we know these are the things that are kind of popular right now. So if I do things that are similar to this, this is 10,000 people that are following it like I am, and not that many people do. You'll see it's a very small percentage of people that are actually going to their site. So if 10,000 people are following it, that means there's probably maybe 100,000 that are actually following it and going there every day. So that means that there's a lot of followers. This is a very important site, and that if I do things that are similar to how this guy is doing things, that can get me ahead and get me a little bit of a boost. The other thing is I can reference these articles and say, hey, these guys are the thought leaders, and I repurposed it here. And then this is for one site. Add in 20 or 30 sites like what I did for, let's see if I black this out. Do you see everybody? Yeah, so warehouse management systems is one of the keywords that I work on. And so you can see here, I'm following a bunch of different websites, and every day there's like 50, 75 articles. I just fly through them. And then that's how we decide what we're going to post on, because these are very, very ingrained websites out there, and I'm just taking them and becoming the aggregator of the best stuff, the things that are most relevant to my Steve, who's a new guy starting a business. He's growing so fast that he's pained. He has a lot of pain in his growth stage, and so I can help him with that and help automate his systems. So knowing who my Steve is, I know where to grab the stuff, and I know which stuff I need to grab to hit him in the most relevant way. And that was really what that was about, and how to publish it out, going out and working on, there's Fiverr, Odesk, iWriter, TextBroker, where you can have other people write stuff for you after you've decided, you know what, I want to write about chocolate covered bananas today. You can send them and say, chocolate covered bananas is my keyword. I want a how-to article, and they'll build whatever you want for like $5. Proper post format. Now you have me doing it. So the proper format, you have to have the keyword in the title, and I shouldn't say have to, it's just recommended. Keyword in the title, first sentence, put that keyword in there again, somewhere throughout, sprinkle it around, last paragraph again, and then there's an image. Always use images or videos or something to make your site more visually appealing, and title that image with your keyword. And that's a step that so few people do. It's actually kind of crazy. And then the last one for week 3 is, don't be spammy. This is all about being helpful. You can just put 3,000 words of that's all chocolate covered banana, and you're going to get shut down anyway.
Chocolate covered banana, just chocolate. I love chocolate. Chocolate's so good. Chocolate is my favorite.
Dude, I'm hungry. I need some candy. All right, so this week we're going to talk about getting out there. Like, okay, so what are we going to do? What does this look like for me? Some personal profiles that I did were about me and brandyourself.com. Brand Yourself is great because it actually walks you through all the steps you need. So I'm going to close all of these guys out. Go back to Brand Yourself. I set up a profile, and let's say on Twitter, I added my Twitter, and if I want to see what can I do next, set your public name. Okay, I've done that. Link to your Brand Yourself profile. So if I put up a link to my Brand Yourself profile, I get 70 extra points, and it helps me. Add your name to your bio. I did that. I added my photo. I set my location. These seem like pretty basic stuff, but this is going out there and hitting these things and telling you this is what you should do, so you get comfortable and familiar with it, and it gives you a pretty good indicator on how well you're doing.
It also suggests sites for you too, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Right off the bat, on where is that part at? Right up there, right? Type into the submit bar. There you go. Yeah. So some of these you may go, I don't have a clue what those are. The reality is, who cares if you know what they are or not? Go on, build the profile, and leave it alone. Because at least if your profile's on there, nobody else can take your profile, right? The last thing that you would want to have happen is, let's say you're Breanne Stewart, and you're Breanne Stewart going, this is awesome, but I don't use Squiggly, and I don't use QBird, and I don't use, that Twitter thing or whatever, right? Not that you're 80 years old, but let's just pretend that you were. And now all of a sudden you've got a whole new version, Breanne Stewart, rolling in, that's 18 years old, going, man, woo! And she's joining everything. And now you've got your one Facebook profile that's you, but everything else out there is all this other crazy person, right? That's all tattooed up and stuff like that, that nobody wants any of that. And so now you're having a battle of preserving your brand. Whereas when you go to brand yourself, weird that they named that, you could sit there and basically create your entire brand and make sure that nobody else can come in and affect it in a negative way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's my
It's funny you say that, because you're absolutely right.
Breanne was 80 years old?
No, but she is actually all tatted up. And I actually met her on Twitter.
Nice, okay.
Like, I only knew her on Twitter for months, and we finally said, we gotta grab lunch or something. But she's cool people, absolutely. You just, like, if you're trademarking something, or if you're trying to copyright your name, your logo, things like that, you get your name out there on everything. If you already get it and own it, then it's going to be really hard to say, for somebody else later to say, oh, this is my name. It's like, well, I own all of these. And here's my logo, and here's when they were established. And you have, like, some track record with it. And last week we Googled some names.
What about and I'm sorry, I completely forgot that everybody could ask questions. Okay, good. At least you're laughing, Breanne. Let's see. I have the question, what about AirSet for collaboration? I don't even know what AirSet is. I seem to love that the most. And it also allows task assignments. What's your impression? I mean, that kind of sounds like Podio to me though too, right? Doesn't, because Podio does that, right?
What do you call it? Task set?
Airset,
Airs.
AIRSET.
Okay. That's kind of
Manage
cool.
all important groups in one place.
I've
Oh,
got my
so
crappy
this is
website.
like
But that's kind of cool. Like a
that.
little collaboration thing.
Well,
And
is that like for mindset, or is that like for your where it grabbed everything and brought it in?
this looks like if you're managing a team, like you can chat back and forth. Podio is another really great one that I've used for that. It's very handy that you can, you'll notice, I guess I can't scroll, but you have sort of a Facebook feed down here of people who have completed tasks, new things that have popped up. You can have web forms that enter stuff. So if you have, uh, you know, one thing that somebody did that was really cool is they posted a job and they had all the fields that they wanted filled out, and then at the bottom they had an attach button, and this is all done natively in Podio, and so they could attach their resume and submit it, and that sends you an email with all of their stats and their resume, and it's all within Podio, and you can go through. So it looks very similar to that, which is very cool. I love Podio. That was pretty cool. I end up using Asana a lot, obviously for groceries. Um, and then, you know, for a couple other things, I don't really go into too much stuff there. I do a lot with something called Teamwork PM. It's really fantastic to go through and group things by this. I can switch project, so I can have multiple projects going on at any one time with different people in that project. I get sort of a same overview and feed of what's going on and who did what, and then I can actually break it out in different companies. You guys probably can't see this because it's super tiny right now. Actually, yeah, so the companies, so I can log into the Coast to Coast one, I can flip into the Toucan Websites one. So yeah, definitely any type of collaboration tool is going to be really handy for you. You just get all of your thoughts out onto something so that you can sleep at night, because that's what kept me up, was I was going to bed and thinking, oh my God, there's so many things I got to do tomorrow. But if I can get them down, you don't worry about them. That's like rule number one for getting things done, is just out of your head onto something that you know you're going to check later. So that your brain says, okay, it's in, and I know tomorrow morning I'm going to take a look at that. Every night before I go to
Weird
bed.
that you say that, because the 21-day challenge is all about writing down your goals, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
and every night I write down my task for tomorrow, so I'm not stressing. I don't have
And
any
you write
worries.
it down. You write it down, and you're Mr. Technology. Why do you write it down with a pen?
Because that tells my brain not to worry about it. If it's down there and it's in ink, that's cool. You can see, like, I have a ton of tasks on those task lists, and that's great for a ton of information, but I'll go through those and say, these are the 3 things I need to hit tomorrow, or else I'm toast. So I put those on paper, so I look at them all day long. I know that these 3 things, if that's not done, I'm toast.
No, I couldn't agree with what you're saying anymore if I tried. I'll be honest with you on that one. That's everything that the 21-day challenge is all about. It's about writing down your goals every single day in the morning. You just happen to do it at night, but it's the same. It's the same exact concept of.
I'm actually pretty excited I got this. So this is my work week one. So for each group that I'm managing, I have a line of the tasks that I'm going to have them do. The week is my weekly goals, and then I'm building out monthly and quarterly goals to put over here, so that, like, all week it's just all in front of me all the time.
I love it. I love it. That is awesome. Now, let's see. I have one more question here. Is there some intrigue to being mysterious? When is too much too much? Now, I would like to say there really isn't such thing as too much. I mean, the more specific you are about who you are, and the more you tell people who specifically you are, the more the right people can find you. So being mysterious, all that does is make it that nobody wants to sit there and keep looking and trying to figure it out. So they're going to just walk around and go find somebody that will show them who they are. Does that make sense? I mean, what do you feel about that?
Well, my thought is, you know, you try to do the mysterious route, and it depends. You know, I'd have to know the situation, but if your number's the loneliest phone number on the planet, if your phone number's the loneliest number, that's not a good sign. So
it is not
I would definitely, yeah, do something to get your stuff out there. Because if somebody comes to your site, they're not like, and you're like close guarding all the information, they're not going to sit there and try to figure it out. And, unless you have like a game company and you're rewarding them for different stages, and that could be a marketing platform, and that could be very cool. But you have to get in there somehow. So you have to say, this is who I am and this is what I do. And if you figure this other stuff out, I'm going to give you a prize.
No.
But
I have black website. It's just black. It has one word on it, and the word says mysterious, and then it has a submit button, and that is it. There is no website domain even. I have no website. I really wanted to be, I wanted people to really want to know who I was. So I told them nothing.
So is this Dracula doing that?
I don't know. I was trying to figure. I was going kind of with the Don Juan thing, and yeah, it's
Don Juan. Okay.
I was doing my best to be mysterious. Let me.
Okay.
I don't know why Don Juan would be from Romania, but please. I like doing.
That said, there was that one app that was just a black screen, and that was like one of the first ones, and it went for like 20 grand. It was just like one of those like, look, I could afford a 20 grand app. It didn't do anything, but it didn't last very long either. So
I'll sell you this mouse for 20 grand. It does well. I mean, it does stuff. So that's even better, right? I mean, it's a useful tool.
I've got an appointment reminder for my dentist.
There we go. I love it, man. You know what? It's all about the tools. So let's see if she. Wow. Okay. Sounds like credit card commercial. All right. So many social platforms, only time for one or two. That is correct. And that's why we were saying with brand yourself, right? With brand yourself, you can create all of the profiles, and then you can utilize the one or two, obviously there's three main platforms. You've got Facebook, that's a lot more social, but there's a ton of business that happens on it. There's LinkedIn, which is primarily business. There's not a lot of social stuff that happens on it. And then you've got Twitter, that just kind of does everything. All these other ones, those are just ancillaries. You should protect your brand. You should protect your name on them, but we're not saying go in there. The other thing that you can do, you can go on Blogger. Justin set up, and I'm still not sure if I did this through brand yourself or where it is, but when I put my brand up on, or when I put our videos or our audios up on Libsyn and up on the website, it gets shot all over the place, man. All of a sudden I've got like my, Pete's, mindset or from the mind of Pete Asmus has another thing out, and Spreaker has another, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? But it basically shoots out and goes to everywhere. So when you connect them all, they work together. And instead of like Justin and I were talking about, and duplication, right? Which is bad to have duplicate content. What it does is it goes, you put it in one place and then it shoots it out to everywhere else, and they're referencing back to it.
Yeah. So Hootsuite's a great place for that. And my recommendation, set up all the accounts, and I'm going to get into that in a minute, but set up all the accounts, manage it from Hootsuite so it's in one place. There's apps for this, so you can do it from your phone. You see something cool, you can add it. Let's see, I want to share Podio right now. So if we go into Podio, and so it's going to create the link for me, the short link. It's going to automatically do that. Or actually, I guess if I do that, I'll create the short link. Boom.
Why is that important, by the way?
Because, and that's a good question, is because Twitter allows you 140 characters, whereas some of the others, they really don't care. If you do the short link, it makes it a lot easier to share. It makes it shareable and share forward. And I digress. I'm going to say something here that's a little bit technical.
I digress? Is this like a novel? What if I digress? What kind of verbiage is that? I digress.
It's awesome. So if you share something and you hit right at 140 characters, and somebody's going to share that again, and it's going to be cut off. So what you want to do is think forward and say, okay, if somebody shares it, make sure that it's 140 characters minus one space minus my username, so that if it's shared forward, the whole message gets shared. So that's just a
That is
tip and a
brilliant,
trick.
man. I've
But the cool thing here
never
is I
thought
can
about
go
that.
here. Yeah, all of the different things that I'm working on, stuff like that. So you can go here and I can post into this Facebook group, and it'll do all that. So manage it from one place to make it super easy. And I do recommend building all the profiles so you lock them down, and then do the spaghetti approach. Throw them up against the wall, throw a post up here and there, see if anybody interacts. If nobody interacts, there's something up there, and you can come back to it later. Is that your handwriting? Are you a female? Oh.
Wow, what? So he's calling you a female? Wait, no,
Yeah,
you're reading on that, aren't you? You're reading on Hootsuite.
Yeah, so Bree says funniest damn shit I've heard all day. So yeah, so basically the thing is you want to set these up. There's different ones. LinkedIn and Zing are great for business. So if you're business to business, it's required, dude. If you're not on LinkedIn, you're just throwing money away. That's actually how I got my new job, was from doing LinkedIn correctly and putting myself out there. And it annoyed some people, but hey, you know what? The bonus and a raise that I got was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zing, another profile. It's more of an international LinkedIn. LinkedIn's pretty well found, but Zing is very popular in Asia and kind of around there. I like having something up there in Zing because if you're doing anything in real estate, where's the money? It's in China. So
China.
Check that out.
China has it.
Yeah, they've got us covered. Skill Page is another great one. Say, here's who I am and here's what I do. And people will post up there, I'm looking for somebody who does blank. And then it'll email you and say, hey, there's somebody near you that's looking for the service that you provide. You should probably talk to this person over here, right over there. So really good idea, Skill Pages, if you're doing something like that. Quora, I actually know this group of guys, and that's their niche, is they go after Quora, and they just dominate. They're posting everywhere. It's a question answer site, so you can pose questions of, let's say you're in that construction world again, like, hey, do you guys know why it's so important to be licensed and bonded? And then see what the replies are, and you can reply to the replies and have a conversation about that. So it's question-based, but a lot of it's actually kind of esoteric questions and some cool stuff in it that really make you think. So I highly recommend it. You can go on there, answer the questions, become kind of a thought leader in your space.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a fun one to get into. Again, if that's not your profile, if your people aren't hanging out there, don't spend your time there. Definitely. Go after the things that make a lot of sense. And these are kind of more professional ones, so we'll get into that. Resume Up is a great place. You can create your resume there, and you can blast it out to your social sites so people can find it, find out who you are, what you do. Zerply, they're actually just got bought by Yahoo, and they're going away. So,
man,
I know that was like
that's a second site that happened to then, because the other one with all the little circles on it, I loved it, and that's gone now too.
Yeah, I really dug that. I love the way that they showed everything all together.
Yeah, and how they interact, like the interaction. I don't even remember what that site was called now, but I loved it, and I remember getting the thing that they were going away. I mean,
yeah, I thought that was Zerply, so I don't know.
Was it?
I don't know. Let's go to Zerply. What is Zerply? It is in my list of favorited. Time for your close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Oh wow, look at him.
Okay, and here's another thing I love, just you guys out there. LastPass, it stores all your usernames and passwords.
Yes, I'm going to say right now that you need to go get that. He showed me that a year ago, and that thing is the most amazing thing that you could ever have. All you need to do is remember one pass, and then it remembers the rest of them, and you can use it on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, everything. LastPass, that is a straight up 2 thumbs up.
Absolutely. Yeah, so this is a place where you can show your work off and become a leader in your space. I think this is the one where you can actually find people who are thought leaders and pay them to talk to them for a period of time. So, okay, well, we won't go into that. Anyway, but check it out. Now, for personal, this is kind of cool. Depending on what you're doing, if you do things like what I'm doing, where I'm constantly
Delicious.
referring people to stuff, Delicious and Clipped are and Pinterest, they're all kind of similar ideas. Delicious was the first one. They got acquired by Yahoo, so they're doing some things a little bit differently now. But it allows you to create a profile. Instead of saving your bookmarks to your browser, you save them to Delicious with a note, and then people could go to your Delicious, and you can say, okay, go to delicious.com/toucan/internet marketing. And there's all of my internet marketing bookmarks. I've tagged it with internet marketing so you can track it down. You know, delicious.com/toucan/Twitter, all my Twitter links, everything like that. So
I didn't realize that that's what delicious was.
Yeah, it's also ice cream. The ice cream is delicious. So, and Clipped is about the same thing. It's a cool program as well, social bookmarking. Pinterest, I would say, kind of took over that, where they still do the social bookmarking, not as much with the tags, which is unfortunate, but they do group things by category and item. So, and they have images, so it's a lot more fun to look through. You don't have to create too much of a description for it. You can see what that article is going to be about. So that's a great way to go about it. The reason I recommend social bookmarking to people is I actually have a couple of friends that found jobs from social bookmarking. Somebody was looking for things, and they found that this one person always had like the best content, and it shows that that person has been reading all of that stuff. So let's say you're in an interview situation. Say, what have you read lately? Oh, well, go to this link. It has the articles that I've been tracking lately, and somebody can go there and like, well, crap, there's like 200 articles you've saved this week. Like, what are you doing in your daytime? So, yeah, one person got asked to be a teacher. Somebody got asked to do I think it was like a $5,000 speaking event. Just because somebody saw that and was like, wow, you're really knowledgeable in this area because you've consumed a ton of content. So keep that in mind. Instagram, Vine are great because you can do anything with images is just so much better. You can do a 15-second video to show how something works in your space, how your brand works, somebody using your product, somebody performing, somebody doing something about it. You explaining, this is who I am and this is what I do. Keep it to 15 seconds and you're golden. Square images with a bunch of filters. I love Instagram. That's probably the social media site that I'm on all the time. Pick what works for you.
I was found on Instagram, by the way.
You what?
That's the TV show that came to talk to me that I'm designing right now. I'm not kidding. Like, that's how they found me, was through Instagram. And I remember somebody commenting on one of my pictures, and they were like, "Hey, I'm booking for a new real estate show, and I'd like to talk to you." And I was like, "Come on, man! Like, really?" You know what I mean? And so I didn't even. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that would be awesome. Here's my number." Da 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 da. And then like a week later, all of a sudden, I got a call. And then I had,
That's awesome.
the rest of it. But yeah, that was because of Instagram. That was because I was putting our brand out there. You know what I mean? It's from what you said in the very beginning, which was take pictures, do videos, get your name out there, get who you are out there so people can identify with you. They can get to know you. And it's going to be through consistency. That's the other thing is that I've consistently been the same thing for the last year and a half, 2 years that you've seen me on everything. I don't go up and down and up and down. I mean, it's always the same exact message coming.
So then the other thing is when you're doing this, when you go somewhere and somebody that's seen your video sees you, is there a different reaction? Like when they come up to you?
Me?
Yeah. So
oh my God, yeah. It's you have no idea. We were at the REI Expo and I had my daughters there and people were coming up to them and like giving them hugs and like talking to them. It was nuts. It was nuts. I've never, like, it was the first time I kind of went, holy cow, this could be weird. Like if when I really do get to where I want to go, it's going to be weird. I mean, just like, that's crazy because people think that we're different than we are. And we're just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like I'm absolutely just like everyone else. I just strived harder to get what I wanted. And I kept driving forward and I just kept driving forward and I put out my brand and every day I made a video, no matter what. I mean, and that's where people are like, yeah, but you don't get it no matter what. And you have that kind of commitment and you have that kind of belief in what you're doing and you get it out there, like Justin's saying, you can have the greatest content in the world, but if nobody sees it, you know what I mean? Like, who cares? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. What do they say? The graveyard has the best inventions in it. It's the richest place in the world with ideas that, people never acted upon, or they did and they never got noticed. Nobody knew about it. There's a ton of great ideas that if everybody just knew about them, they would be great. They'd be fantastic. But because they don't know how to get the information out, because they aren't educated in that aspect of it, their brand doesn't get noticed. And so that's why, to me, what we're talking about is so important, because whatever it is that you want to do, I don't care what it is. It could be multi-level marketing. It could be running a moratorium. If you want to be the best, people got to know who you are. And the only way for people to know who you are is to brand yourself. And branding means pictures. It means writing. It means videos. It means audio. It means all of it. And then it means putting it in a way that people actually want to get it. That was the other thing Justin showed me, and I'll show you on the YouTube videos. Like the first, we'll go through the titles of the first YouTube videos, and then we'll look at what the titles are now. And you tell me if there's any difference. And I mean, because I know people surf my website now. I know they do, because I get told that they go on and they, I was bummed out. So I just jumped on and I started looking for motivation. I just go through and I find something that clicks with me. Well, the only reason they can do that is because everything doesn't say Pete Asmus motivational video. Okay, there's 500 of these. Like, what the hell what are any of them? But I didn't have the foresight when we started doing the podcast, the way you told me to tag them. I mean, I flip out when people don't label things right now. And it's, you start with the year, then the month, then the date. I didn't know why you did that, but because when you look at it in a file format, if you have 3-4-214, that's going to be the same almost as 3-4-213. So now you've got 3-4-3-4, and then you have 2-14-213, instead of having all the year together and then all the year together. And it's about organization. It's about being found, though, too. And if you don't label things right, if you don't tag things right, if you don't put the right keywords, then nobody knows who you are. Nobody is going to find the information that you spent 5 hours creating. And that's a shame. So
so 2 points to that. One is the video part. And I think that is one of the key parts. Everybody gets really concerned about how they look on video. Obviously, you can see I'm just kind of in an office in my bookshelf. This isn't the most ideal video location, but we're doing it. We're making it happen. And this full-on studio can come later. Things like that. Don't worry so much about it, but just get something out there, because it comes down to, like what Pete was saying, people approaching the daughters and saying, like, hey, I know you. Like, I've seen you for 200 days on YouTube, and they feel a connection. They feel like they can know, like, and trust you, and that's how people buy, is by who they know, like, and trust. When you do video, you set that up early. People do cartoon videos. They're crazy expensive, and I think that if you just spent like 15 minutes in front of a camera to do a couple of takes, that you're going to have so much better conversion rates, because there's a face behind it. Somebody is physically there that they know, hey, you know what, I can call this guy, and he was on the video. He told me that this is going to work, so I can call him and make it right if I buy it. So I'm going to buy it, and then I just know that I can get in touch with him because he was there. So, that's one of the big things is, when social media came out, is the authenticity, that just being able to see the people and interact with people at a company, and that was a big win there. And then the second part was the tags and the hashtags, and we talked about this last time a bit, and it's like, do not do the really clever long-winded hashtag, because hashtags should not be a sentence. They're to help people get found. So like how Pete get found. You don't get found by I heart real estate in Arizona and New Mexico and all these. Nobody's searching for that term.
Yeah, exactly.
But people are searching for real estate, and people are searching for hashtag dance and hashtag modern dance and hashtag bail bonds and hashtag your company here. So like if you use the right hashtag, you're absolutely going to get found.
Absolutely. Um, what was the first thing that you said?
The videos and know, like, and trust.
No, like, and trust. Oh, talking about the girls. I mean, they will come up and they will actually repeat the things that the girls say. Like that's what blows me out away. Is going and having people walk up to them and go, let go, let's go. And I mean, they just start doing the whole entire outro that the girls say, and they know them. I mean, I'm not dumb. I literally I put my daughters in these because for two reasons. One, I wanted to teach them. I wanted to make them part of what we were doing. I knew that they were going to copy me. And if they were going to copy me, man, I was going to give them something amazing to copy. I wanted to give them something incredible to learn and to become. And two, I knew that they made it way more interesting to watch these two little girls like repeating what I'm saying as opposed to just me sitting there going, man, this is awesome. Let's get motivated. And, that's cool for so long. But when you've got, Madison going and making like weird faces in the back and it's funny, it's entertaining. And when people smile, when they feel that great emotion and they're looking at you, and then they feel that great emotion and they're looking at you, and they feel that great emotion and they're looking at you, guess what they start to associate?
Mm-hmm.
You and the great emotion, right? And so now when I'm in a bad mood later, oh man, you know what? I got to go find those videos because those girls were cracking me up. And now they watch the video for the girls and they get the message from Pete. And that really was the mindset behind why I did it the way that I did it. And, there's a lot more things in it, but I think people don't understand the mechanics behind it, the psychology behind it, because SEO, there's still an amount of psychology behind it. There's an amount of how do you get people to want to figure it out, right? You've got to figure out what their problem is and then answer it. Like Justin was saying, you've got to answer their problem. Well, if your problem isn't how do I turn the light switch on? Oh, all you got to do is flip the switch. If that wasn't your question, I could tell you that all day long and it doesn't matter to you. So you've got to figure out what people want and how they're going to respond in the best possible way. I mean, that's at least that's a big, when I start thinking about how I'm going to keyword things out, I start thinking about what do people actually ask? And I'll say this, like titling things, right? A couple days ago, I named one of them challenge yourself or challenging yourself. And at first it was going to be a few different things and I kept changing it going, wait, that's not what people wouldn't Google that, but challenging yourself, that I could see somebody writing that down. You want to be able to, and it can't just be about you. That was the other thing that I had to disassociate. I had to stop looking at what I thought was cool and look at what other people are going to look for. It doesn't matter how witty I am. Kind of like what you were saying with the big, long, giant hashtags, right? But more than that, using cool words that I thought were interesting didn't matter if nobody else cared about that word. Like I like the word inspirtainment. It doesn't even exist. It's fake. But if I hashtag everything with inspirtainment, nobody even knows that. They don't even know how to spell it. I spell it 3 different ways, man, because I don't even know how to spell. So nothing's consistent there with me. So that would be so dumb for me to consistently hashtag that, right? But alopecia, which is something that my daughter has that makes her bald, I do have that hashtag in because she does have alopecia. People do search that term. And if people do search that term, she is inspiring others. I want that to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, dude, did I show you? I don't know if I have that guy's business card here anymore, but there was this guy we saw at the Aces Comedy Club. Thank you, Alex. But I'm sorry, not deaf guy, but he had a stutter, like a crazy, crazy stutter. He got hit in the throat with a baseball, playing baseball, and it paralyzed his vocal cord. So he goes out and he does comedy to show other people that, like, hey, you might have a disability, but look at me. It's not holding me back. And, he's only had it for like 2 years. So he just like made it happen. So yeah, absolutely. And if you get started just doing some videos now, the following will come. Like, I'm sure, like, when you first get started out, there will be like 4 people that might follow you and they're all your brother and sister. But, as that grows, they'll tell you what they want to find. Like, they'll tell you, like, hey, this is what I really like. And they'll tell you either by physically, like, actually telling you, like, hey, can you do more videos like this? Or they'll say, just comment on them. And you'll notice, like, hey, when I talk about these things, I get like 20 comments. And these other ones, I get like 2. So you just know, hey, these are how I inspire comments. These are how I interact with people and inspire interaction. And that interaction is what gets you the sales.
I want to show, when we show today's video, I want to ask what people think the interaction was in that video that I did and why I did it. There is an interaction in that video that I do that I realized I get a lot of likes from. And so we'll talk about that, because I think about that stuff too. You know what I mean? And for all of you on here too, if you need to leave, if you have to go somewhere, hey, it's okay, but we're not going to stop teaching and giving information. If you have to go, just remember that this is being recorded, and you are more than welcome to get the recording and listen to it. It is being recorded. I'm looking at it, and I've cleared room on my hard drive so that the thing that happened on the second week, which is what he's talking about, won't ever happen again. That, oh my gosh, that was horrible. I still am so bummed that didn't get recorded.
So let me put this out here too, for all of these videos, all of these different things, because I know that's a consideration. Like, I don't have time to post on all of these and create, unique content for all of these different ones. But each of these social sites, one of the biggest things that's with it is, like we were talking, the hashtag is search. You can search everybody on Instagram for a particular term, like let's say ballet. So you can find all the people that are tagging their stuff with ballet and then start interacting with them. And then now you have a following, just like instantly. Twitter is probably one of the best as far as search goes, and they'll do some stuff like be able to track within a certain radius of a location. So if you're a physical business owner, you can track to find everybody within 25 miles. And that's a really valuable thing. And then the other thing in these is, let's say there's somebody great in that niche. And Pete, not saying you're not great, but let's say Tony Robbins and you have some commonality.
Well, come on. That's, he's probably on a different level.
So, but let's say you guys have a lot of things that would cross over. So if you were on one of these profiles, let's say Instagram, and you went to Tony Robbins and you found all the people that are following Tony Robbins, those would probably be all good people for you to follow too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then when they see you following, they'll go to your site and say, who is this guy? And then they'll see you have like all these cool pictures, you have the quote pictures, and I think that'll be hugely moving. When I get some of these people that are trying to follow me to get me to follow them, they have like 4 posts, they're all kind of crappy, and they're all trying to sell me something. So if you do it authentic, like you have let's say 10, 20 decent things out there that look kind of unique and interesting, that if I followed somebody and they looked to see, is this somebody I want to follow back, they'd see that would be interesting, and hey, I'm going to bridge that communication gap. So if you do something like that, you're going to find out really quickly where people that are interested in you lie and how to get in front of those people.
That's awesome, man. I love the fact of, I didn't look at how we could use Twitter. And again, I mean, even tonight, like right now, I'm thinking about what you just said, and I never thought about doing what you just said. Like, I never thought about jumping on Instagram and hashtagging motivation and finding everybody that puts motivation in there, because just because they put motivation in doesn't mean that they are a motivating person. It could mean that they want to be motivated. And so, they put up this thing, and because that's what they care about, because that's how I started. I didn't start going, man, I'm going to be this big motivational speaker and that's what I want to do. It wasn't like that. I mean, I wanted to do that, but I didn't feel like that in any way, shape, or form. And I had to go through years of following other people and listening to them and really, really, I mean, listening to them over and over and over and over and over, to the point where, man, there's some Tony Robbins stuff where, look, you just start pushing play for like 30 seconds, hit stop, and I'll go ahead and finish the entire like 13-minute section, because I've heard him so many times, because I know that that's something that I was very passionate about, right? And so that's kind of what you're saying, where people that know me, I've gotten approached on LinkedIn now to actually go and be a speaker, a keynote speaker for motivation at a group, and it's nice. So weird, because I wasn't seeing myself there. You know what I mean? Like, I kept thinking, oh yeah, someday, I want to be there. But it wasn't until you, like I said before, you've got to become the person you want to be become the person that you want to be. You've got to start just doing the things that person would do, and you will become that person. And that's kind of the transformation over the last like year and a half, really, of my life, turning into where I am now, and really being where I want to be, and going through all this just growing process, man. I mean, it's so crazy how much of an influence you've had over me, because when it comes to marketing, everything that you talk about is, it all deals with marketing. Every single bit of it. I don't care how great the copy you write is. If you're not using the right keywords, Google isn't going to track it. Nobody's going to know. And boom, you're done again. And so you're happening to run 50 times harder than this guy over here that just worded his article right, put the right keywords in, slammed it with the picture, and walked away and went to bed. And now is just getting traffic. And you're over here on a treadmill running as fast as you possibly can to get in 1/10 of the traffic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think anymore, everything is sales. Everything is sales all the way through. I work with companies with product-based businesses, and we're doing all this crazy stuff. But the reason is so that like this person's end customer can open a box of product, have it be right, and have it be there on or before the time it was promised. Like that's the end goal of everything, so that they have a good customer service experience, so they buy more. I mean, it's all linked to sales. And the best way to do sales is to make a customer happy. Best way to make a customer happy is to do the right thing.
And if you think for any second that this Amazon thing is just a fad, if you think for any second that people aren't really going to buy things over the internet, that nobody's going to buy a house over the internet, nobody's going to buy a car over the internet, nobody's going to buy anything over the internet without physically seeing it, touching it, holding it, then welcome to 2014, because that happens every single day, all the time. And if you aren't learning SEO, if you aren't learning how to build your brand better, then all you're doing is falling behind. I mean, that's literally what you are. Every day that you go by without learning this and becoming more effective at it, it's just like people going, yeah, I don't need to learn the smartphone thing because it doesn't really matter. I don't need to learn Facebook because you can't make money on Facebook. You can't make money on LinkedIn. And the reality is, I think we made like 300 grand on Facebook last year. So believe me, connections matter. Your network matters. Your network is everything. The bigger your network, the more people that you have connected to you, the more opportunities you get. The more opportunities you get, the more money that you can make, and the more successful you can be. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I love what Justin said. He said there's no reason to have a website if you're not selling something. There isn't. There's no reason for you to have a website if you aren't selling something. And all of you are selling something. Every single one of you. You're selling something. Figure out what it is so that you can get the right type of website for it. But you're either selling yourself, you're selling, and not like the old school style thing that you were talking about, whoever has that old business. But you're selling yourself. And at the end of the day, that is what you're selling. It's you.
So, and that's a really good point. You should be selling something. And these tips are not just for small business owners. These are not just for, somebody who's entrepreneurial that's trying to make money in sales. This is for really anybody. If you're employed, if you're a W-2 employee and you're not doing this stuff and you're going up against people who are, if you don't think
your manager's Googling you, you're crazy.
Yeah, if they're Googling you, if you haven't Googled yourself, you have problems. Like, you should Google yourself. You should Google your company name. We're not going to Google Pete's last name because that's dangerous, we found out. But
my last name, you could Google me all day long.
Wasn't the last name that somebody else had like dominated on?
That wasn't
the Pete Asmus was good. Like, if you Google Pete Asmus, you'll see just Pete all the way down. Same thing with Justin. Like, we dominated that stuff. So
you're saying just my last name though is something bad? Is it something? Oh my God, I gotta Google it now. Holy cow, I totally forgot. I think I do. I remember something. We were like, whoa, that's probably not appropriate. But I didn't. I didn't think that was my last name.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, so Google my last name. Whatever. Yeah. I don't care.
But and you don't know this stuff until you check it out. So. And that's the important part. Check it out, because then okay, well, this stuff is happening over here, and if I want somebody to search for me and find X, then I need to make sure that Y isn't there. I did that. I Googled myself, and I was like, wow, all that stuff I put up there when I was in my early 20s was stupid. And that's why I think it's great that the girls are doing this stuff now, is because then they see that. They know Hey, I
I
put
already have
something
them.
on
I
and
already have
everybody
their
sees it.
domains, brother.
Yeah. So there's no, they're dominating for their names. They're getting all of that out there. We're doing the same thing, all the way around. Take over your name. It helps if you have a crazy last name. So you're not like Mike Smith. That's going to be
Right.
hard to search for. All right. So moving down the list, audio, video. YouTube obviously is the second biggest search engine on the internet. People search YouTube often before they search Google. So if you want to know how to do something, you're probably going to go to YouTube to find out how, so you can see a video, because it makes more sense than the text on the screen. And this is a really good indicator. My dad called me to tell me that he Googled how to fix my grandmother's email account. So because it was broken while I was at work. So if you have somebody who's in their 60s saying, no, I just YouTube it and find out. It's like, okay, now it's become like that
They've
stock that your
arrived.
cabbie's telling you about.
Yeah, they've arrived.
Yeah. Vimeo is about the same, is similar to YouTube. They have a better interface, but they're not as searchable. But, use what you like, blow it out to everywhere. I mean, makes sense. I mean, it's not going to hurt you to just throw it out to every place. I think the program is OneLoader, that you upload the video once and it blasts out to all of them. So
that I did not know.
Yeah.
OneLoader?
Yeah, OneLoader, and it goes up, it loads your video with your title, your description, your tags, and you have to link all your accounts, but that's kind of cool. It blows out to Vimeo, Flickr. SoundCloud is great for audio. SoundCloud is pretty sick, especially if you have like something audio that you're regularly doing, musicians and stuff, because you can, as the progress bar goes across, you can make a comment at a certain progress. So you can say, oh, I like this beat right here, or hey, what you said right here made a lot of sense and resonated with me. And that's a really cool tagging system.
That is. Now the only problem I found with SoundCloud, the other cool thing that SoundCloud does is it uploads it to YouTube for you.
Oh, that's cool.
But you have to pay for it, right?
I haven't dug too far into SoundCloud because for the things that I wanted to do, it hasn't made sense yet. But I have some friends that have bands, and that absolutely makes sense for them.
All day long, it makes sense for a band. And because of the radio show, I was looking into that. I'll look back at it though and see if it has a free service as well. Because if it does, then Stitcher should be slamming it, because I was uploading it to Stitcher and then Stitcher was slamming it to SoundCloud, and then somehow I figured out how to put it into Stitcher without going into Stitcher. So now it gets automatically uploaded to Stitcher, because that's supposed to be something similar to it's like XM or something.
Yeah, well, it's like iTunes podcast sort of thing, but what they did is Stitcher went and said, okay, we're going to get into all the cars. So now they're putting in all the cars, so that's like radio stations. They can search for podcasts. So it's
that's what I think is pretty awesome, and that's why I wanted to make sure. And I think you told me about Stitcher, which is why I mean, I think anything technology-wise, you've pretty much told me about. So
MySpace, it's still around.
Oh my God!
It's still there. Again for bands and multimedia stuff, definitely still on the map. So if it makes sense, try it out. The worst thing that happens is nobody finds it, and you wasted 20 minutes of your time. The best thing that can happen is somebody comments on it, and you say, oh, there are people here that are looking for this exact thing, and maybe I should make it so part of my habit that I also upload here, which costs me 2 minutes a day.
Absolutely. So, and guys, if you have any questions too, real quick before you go on, you can ask them over there on the right side. Don't feel shy. If you have anything, please ask. And we'll do a Q&A at the end too. So if you guys raise your hand, I can unmute you and you guys can actually ask the questions out loud as well. I know I'm learning how to do better things, man. I'm telling you, every time, as soon as I figure out how to get my life down to 3 hours a day, I figure out something else that's new, and it adds another 5 for the next 2 weeks. Then I get it back down again, and I learn something new. It's crazy, man.
But it's those incremental improvements that you can't get knocked down from.
That's right. I get back up. I can't knock down. But I
get knocked down.
Right. All right, you are up, sir.
So to create a video, there's a couple different ways. Use your phone, a flip cam. I think it's somewhere else, but a little flip cam, like they call it the flip, right?
Video.
Flip. Yeah. Personally, I have an HD camera that has an audio in, so I can actually listen. I have a Audio-Technica mic that it has like 20 feet of cable. Sounds great when I tie it into there.
Are we doing sound equipment stuff? Because I got those wireless mics that are awesome.
Exactly. Well, this one was $20 and yours is like 120. So, which
the wireless
totally
mic's 120?
When I was searching for it, it was.
But
it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
They are, and I have two of
cable.
them because they have two different channels. So I have two wireless mics. I can plug them into a Y connector, go right into that that deal that if I'm going to use the iPad or the iPhone, I have to use that special connector. Yep. But if I use my DSLR, I have a Nikon D60, I think. It's it's a full frame camera, which is different from normal cameras. So I mean, just the body alone was really expensive, but I wanted the best. I mean, and it doesn't mean that I didn't start there though. You know what I mean? Like I did not start there. I started with a cell phone, or I started with a flip camera. And then that one really sucked. If you look at our first Alv video, it was like one of those little tiny flip cameras. So I had to be
like 480p.
Yeah. And then I started doing, when we were doing the daily videos, I used my iPhone. And then I actually got the new iPhone when it came out because the reverse camera was so much better. And now, I mean, again, when you see the difference between the clarity now and then, it was important for me. And if you're doing these every day, production should be important to you. Clarity should be important to you. You should be looking to make them better. You're not going to be able to have the finished result that I have right now because it took me literally months and months and months of doing it over and over and over to get better to get there. But you've got to start somewhere to end up there. If you don't start, you're never going to get better. So start making recordings right now.
And the other thing is, if you don't start, you don't know what equipment you need. Like you'll never find out until you start doing it.
Yeah, I don't know how many boards I went through to get your microphone. I mean, you've got to have the experience, and it's okay when things don't work right, as long as you keep learning from it and growing and learning and growing and learning and growing. I mean, it took me from August to I think December, literally that many months to figure out how to get my computer to work on Skype and be able to put the sound effects into it, because it wasn't 2-channel. And so it was a monotone, but nobody knew that. So I kept buying different boards. They kept not working. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, are you kidding me? You're telling me that everybody else in the world can do this but me? There's no way. There's no way. And I mean, I would go back and sit at freaking Guitar Center for like an hour and a half, 3 hours. I am not kidding. Going, I don't get this. And it was through perseverance. It's through knowing what you want your end result to be. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be able I wanted to be able to do this. I wanted to be able to, if I chose to make any kind of sound effect happen, and I could go, and do that if I wanted. And it would be funny. I could sit there and go over here and I could play, here we go, any kind of thing, you know, like for instance. Hey, I just wanted to. Okay, stop. All right. Okay, I'm done. So I wanted to be able to do that so that I could screw up like this and make it repeat itself. But I wanted to be able to do webinars and the radio show, and I wanted it to be interactive. I wanted it to be engaging. I wanted it to be different so that there were sound effects and and you know, whips and things that would make people go, man, okay, it breaks up the monotony of rah, 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 rah. And this is how you do this. And then you have the electron and the proton and the neutron and all they get together at the dance-tron. And you know what I mean? I wanted it to be engaging. I wanted to be able to teach. And I know that in order to do that, it has to be fun. It has to be entertaining too. It can't just be straight information, because everybody will end up going to sleep and it won't stick. They just won't remember it. Because it didn't impact them. You know what I mean?
Rule number 1 of marketing, don't be boring.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. So the other things to do, and Pete mentioned this, is a camera, DSLR. I have a great camera that I can do this with. DSLR is better because you can change out a lens that will allow you to change your aperture so you're in focus and everything else out is blurred, which is a really nice effect. You can go outside do some things out there, and you have that interesting background, but it's not so clear that people will focus on it. So that's a really cool tip. Screen captures are a great way to get started because, you know, we all have a computer, obviously, because we're here. Camtasia is what I use. There's you know, Screencast-O-Matic, which is a free program, and I think ScreenR, so ScreenRR, and you can record stuff on that. Snagit is a great little tool that actually does video capture as well, so I can capture a video here like as we're talking and record something, and I think it records up to like 15 minutes for free.
Oh wow.
And they host it. So, you know, those are a fantastic way to go. Animoto is awesome. If you don't want to be on camera or have your voice heard, any of that, Animoto is like the place for you. You just upload a bunch of pictures. They could be slides, anything like that. Upload an MP3 with it, and it has like these really cool transitions and effects already built in that goes with the tempo of your music, so it looks like it should, and it goes through. Mac has something very similar to that, so you can use that as well.
What
I
is
think
Mac's
YouTube
version
has
of that?
some tools in it as well for actually editing the video and doing some things in there. Just make sure that you always have an audio in, and this is kind of a weird thing with video, but if the sound doesn't sound good on a video, people will leave. It, you know, it doesn't, like, even if it's the prettiest thing in the world, if the sound sounds bad, people are out. So make sure you have that remote mic. If it's something, you know, simple like an Audio-Technica, just like a lavalier mic, or if it's, you know, a cool system where it's wireless, which is always better. But you know, do what you need to get started, and then just keep going from there. Go to toucanwebsites.com/video production for some other tips, tools, and that type of thing. And then finally, I wanted to go into those two. Brand yourself. We kind of went over. It walks you through setting all the stuff up step by step, and then Noam is like the place to go. Check this out. So you guys, you go in here. Let's pull up. Cool. Give me a cool term. Oh, my mic just hit.
A cool term?
Yeah. So let's say beach,
ice fishing.
Blanket. Yeah, ice fishing.
Well, that's cool, right?
Ice fishing is very cool. So you go out here, check it, and it'll go out to all of these places, see where it's available, and then you can actually buy. You know, have them go through here for their premium service. What is it, $85? And they'll sign you up with all of them, all at once. They'll just send you like your login information. So you tell it what your username you want it to be, which is obviously ice fishing, you know, blogger.icefishing, dailymotion.icefishing, whatever that is, and then whatever your name is. You upload your image, your description, the link back to your home site, things like that. It'll create all of this for you for $85. So you don't have to go out there and do all of that. There's a ton of different places out here that you can go into. These are the bookmarking ones, the different business ones, community ones, design ones. So if you want to know, like, which ones should I sign up for, boom, all of these. Like,
holy crap. I think it's $85 for the 25 for 25 of the most popular, right? And then it's like a couple $100 to do every single one of them.
$250 for 100, $350 for 150, and then $650 for 300. You know, the other thing is they're all right here and they're linked. So if you just like open in a new tab, like bam. So
you could go create all of them yourself if you wanted to save yourself $500.
Yeah, and so these are also, this is actually pretty cool, that it tells you how relevant this is. So if nothing was scoring very high, you might not want to pay for it. But so Justin TV is pretty popular, and I can just go right here and say, okay, I'm going to create my profile here on Justin TV.
Wow.
So yeah, this is a great tool.
You have your own TV?
I do, yeah. Actually, because my name is Justin, of course I set up a
it must be yours, right? Must be. Yeah. Great SEO, no, brother. Great SEO. Popped right up on the top.
Yeah. So definitely, you guys, if you want to know which ones to go to, how to get to them, go to Noam. my recommendation is to just let them build all these profiles for you, because for $100, I mean, it will take you hours. Just go out and have it all done
Hours.
for you. You can put in the username and password that you want, and then you just know when they say and send you an email, we're done, that you can log in and do all your stuff there.
I agree 100%. I know that, man, I think we were building some of these for weeks, just building
Yeah.
out the profiles. It just takes forever. I mean, just takes forever. And if I would have known about this in the beginning, I would have had them do this for me all day long, all day
Yeah.
long.
So, yeah, I mean, easy to do. Go check it out, at least to get an idea of like what should I be talking about here, and what does this place do, and how is it working for me. Um, there was one in here for health. Yeah, here. So if you're a personal trainer or something like that, these would be great ones to be on. So
Absolutely, because that's where people are going for health.
yeah, dance, things like that.
About Me is a great site too.
I'm sorry, my mic keeps dropping.
No, that's okay. And I mean, you that site is so and see, look at that. There's another way you can go ahead and sign in. I went to a lot of these and signed in through Facebook. So that's not the hard part. The hard part is now you've got to create the whole bio. So really what you want to do is create your bio. You want to create 3 different bios. You want to have like a a 200 or 140 character bio as a short bio, a like 250 word bio, and then like a
Yeah.
500 word bio. And that way you can utilize, you know what I mean? You basically create all these different bios prior to doing this, and then you can just slam whatever one goes in where.
Yeah, definitely. And knowing that ahead of the time, and having that like you said, in a text file on your desktop, like, okay, there's this new site just came out. I need to create this because this is going to be huge. You can just copy and paste. Don't even worry about it. And then see what happens.
Rewriting them every time. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and because you don't know, like, if you're not on it, like your keywords, you might not know what they are, and by having those there, you know that my keywords are in my description because I spent half an hour making it that one day, and now I can use it on all these sites.
That's right. You do it once the right way, and then copy it.
Yeah, and then always have your headshot, your avatar, your logo, really easy to get to, so you can just pop that in every time you do something.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Is that all you've got?
For today, we're at almost we're in an hour and 40. So
no, I know. I wanted to show the YouTube video, so that's why.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, let's definitely show those.
Okay, so let's get into that then real quick. Let's see. I've got to take the screen back then, right? So let me take that.
And
back.
guys, this is really cool. This is we got Pete to start doing this in video, and I think that's probably a really cool point, because when you're doing stuff, sometimes we're really busy, and writing is just like, man, I can't spend 4 hours of my day writing a blog post every day. Like, I have to be selling something to make money so I can, afford to write a blog post. It doesn't make sense. So what we did with Pete is we said, dude, you're never going to have time to sit down and write. Just go out and create a video. 1-2 minutes tops. Just, do something and just improve upon it every day. And the stuff that he has done is incredible. Like, he took it from something that's really basic. Go ahead, Pete.
So this is the first one.
A year ago.
Hey guys, it's Pete Asmus again. I wanted to remind you guys, tomorrow night is Sunday night. Sunday nights at 6 p.m. should be starred out in your calendar. That is Journey to Success. I know every Sunday night at 6 p.m. I'm there. Are you guys there?
Yeah!
We want you to be there too. We want to impact you. We want to help you, and we want to show you how to get and create what you want.
So pause it real quick.
Now.
So look at a couple things. We got the bars on the side, the lighting's a little bit, see where the lighting's at. I think in this particular one, the lighting's actually pretty good. The sound is a little bit echoey. The girls in the back are kind of quiet. They're, what's Dad doing back there? They're engaged, but show them the new one.
Okay, so that's it for the old one. All right.
Yeah.
So here's the website. All right. Here is, by the way, when you open up this one, let's see here. That's the picture.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's what everybody sees when they're scrolling through, which is horrible. Now, I learned through doing this over and over and over again, that is a picture that I took. Now, here's the crazy part. I used to, we'd start and I'd take a few pictures and then I'd use that picture. Well, then with iPhones, the way they have them, what I do now is every morning we get into position, whatever position we want to do. I hit record and then it'll let me take a picture while it's recording. So we take the picture and then all of a sudden we move. And that's what you're going to see, because that way I have a picture that is in the same width, and this is what we're doing. So this is the front page, like Justin was talking about, right? And this we created all from, I mean, it didn't look like this in the beginning. It's so crazy how far this has come. But
and
all
the cool
kinds
thing
of
too
things.
is all the videos. Look at the pictures. It looks like this is a fun site. This doesn't look like a boring news site. There's pictures, there's images, there's obviously video. Like, this looks fun.
So then we go here, and now look at this. Okay, so here was Pete talks about timing. All right. Now, more important than that, let me go back into the video manager here. Let me go to back here. Let me see if this is back far enough. Look at the titles. Pete Asmus, Make It Happen Monday. Pete Asmus, Flip It Friday. Pete Asmus, Thursday. Excellent edition. Excelente edition here. Take It Back Tuesday. There's no way to differentiate except for the days of the week. That's it. That's the only thing that you know that's any different. And then you go to, okay, well, what do we got now? Right? How has that changed? And this actually happened after having lunch with Justin one day. He's like, man, nobody knows what the hell you're doing. Like they're worded really bad. And Justin was an awesome coach because he didn't hammer me at first. He let me grow. And then when I'd come back to him and ask him questions, then he'd give me the answers. But now you can see I've started naming them differently. And Investing Coast to Coast, that used to be how we named that show. And that's not true either anymore. If you look back at this now, here's our Investing Coast to Coast, improving your image on Investing Coast to Coast with Pete Asmus and Ivan Oberon. We know what that's about now. Now we know that it's about improving your image, right? Whether you're interested in that or not, that's what the episode's about. This one is about this is your life. And so what does that look like? So here now is the video.
So
all right.
And just hold on. Right off the bat, you can see, look at, he's got the overlay up on the top of the screen. He's got, some text in there. His logo's floating over there on the right. The lighting seems more natural. The background is darker. They're brighter, so they kind of pop out a little bit more. Some really cool stuff. And you're going to see the girls are like so engaged. Like every time I see it, it's kind of surprising how much that they can remember, because I can't remember a script that long.
Let me see. This is where we were, right? So let me go back to this real fast.
Hey guys, it's Pete.
So notice.
I wanted to remind you guys.
Listen
tomorrow night is Sunday. It only counts time. You're gonna get resistance. Okay. So I want you guys to be there tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Looking forward to it. You guys looking forward to it?
Yeah!
All right. We'll see you guys there. Have a great night.
All right. So that's the depth of their interaction. Now this is what it's like.
So he's got a solid intro.
Because what did we do yesterday?
That is awesome.
Whoa. Hey. Hey. Right?
Yeah.
Right? And today it's all about taking back your life. Look, so many times we just float through life. We float through the day. It's just, I can't wait through, I can't wait till today.
Yeah, look at that kind of effect.
The reality is, You got to start taking back your life. Make it fun. When you set little goals for yourself and you accomplish them, do something. Reward yourself. Show yourself that you're worth it, right? Because what that's going to start doing is it's going to associate good things happening when you accomplish your goals. And it's going to make you want to accomplish more goals. And then you're going to get something better. And I'm telling you right now, that's the
And calls to action right there. Like, hey, here's my address. Go here.
When you're going through the challenges, that there's a great thing on the other side, and it's worth it. Not that you just keep giving everything up and sacrificing. There's got to be rewards in there too. So make sure you reward yourself because you are awesome. You're amazing, right? Yeah. There you go. I think you're awesome at least.
I think you're awesome more than him.
No. I think you guys are way more awesome than they do.
I teased him last night that he didn't like you.
Oh my gosh, how did you guys say that in sync? That is not true. That is not true at all. No. They are straight up evil at this point. I have no idea how they just completely synced out that. I did not say that at all. You guys are so crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Man. Freeze. Okay. Man, you guys are so cool. Good.
All right.
Anyways,
Let's shoot to the ending and show them how you wrap it up. And this is also really cool. Look, he's got like 2 minutes of ending here.
Oh man, that does mean bam. Great job. Yes.
Tomorrow we're going to Disneyland to go see Kansas.
And Star Wars.
So is this kind of B-roll or?
Yeah. Well, no, it was.
Boom, that's right, girls. Anything else?
One last thing. Let's go. We're gonna dance and take it our first steal. Like us on Facebook, look at YouTube. If you really like us, press share. Go make something happen. And on go make something happen.com, we have a wristband, keychain, stickers, sizes and colors. So go get yours today.
Boom, there you guys go. Join Pete Asmus's 21-day challenge. It's all about writing your goals every day. It's amazing. We've just built this whole campaign around it too. So every day you'll get emails and videos and all kinds of stuff to help keep you motivated.
By the way, that is an awesome effect that I just learned how to do, which is laying video over video, so that you could hear my voice track, but you could see a different video. And I just learned how to do that like yesterday. So I was really excited about that.
Cool.
To show you why
so
what you're doing.
all of these things are like,
Listening to us today,
you learn a little bit each time you do something. So just keep doing stuff, and as you go, it'll get better. And this is after just a year, which isn't a lot of time. Like, he's just been doing a lot of stuff.
And I mean, even being able to make that move and then make the other one disappear. I mean, all these things, literally to put this one video together probably took me, I don't know, 9 hours, 10 hours. But because of the way that these systems are, like what we're talking about, right? When I go to, where's it at? When I go to iMovie, and this happened, I learned how to do iMovie about a month and a half ago, all because my daughters were late and all of a sudden something happened and the phone turned off. So I had to redo it. And all of a sudden I had to glue two pieces together. And I'm like, well, I'll just use this. And that was the worst thing. Well, it was the worst and best thing that could happen, because for the next week and a half, it took me all day to edit videos, because all of a sudden I just saw all these cool things that I could do. And so when you go into these, I've literally had to create each day. And what I do is, let me open this up. So all these are different edits. All of them, they're all different, either titles. This part right here is what you see. You know, when I talked about laying video over video, it's all that video was on the top part up here. So that will cover up the bottom part. And that's why, you know, when you come over this, you've got the 21-day challenge. So what I do now is I will sit there and I'll highlight the whole thing, and I could take that and I could go place that into a new well, here, I'll just undo that. So I can go place that though, because I copied it, right? Let's say I go onto this testimonial. I can go to the back here and go, man, I don't like this. I don't want that on there. I want to put this on there instead. And now okay. I put it in the middle, which it shouldn't have gone there, but that's where that thing was. So what? So you can, anyways, the whole point is there's so many cool things that you can do. And when you do it right once and then you can reuse it, man, that's what this is all about. Like Justin was saying, I kept building on top of it and building on top of it and building on top of it until I had this great outline now all I do when I want to come in and basically do a video, I'll come in and let's say tomorrow is Thursday, right? So I'm going to shoot Thursday's video. Oh, we're already on it. So I'm going to come over here and now all this stuff can all stay there. All I've got to do is go down, and here's a perfect example of this because last Thursday I didn't make it. Where did they go? There we go. There's one video. There's those. Here we go. So this is a Thursday video. So I can now take this, drop it right into here. I mean, this is what makes this so amazing. So I drop it in there. I replace it. And now I've got to figure out the different name. It's not going to be Living with Urgency, right? So I got to figure out what I'm going to call it. But now I can sit there and do all kinds of things. Now, because she came in really light and I'm probably going to be loud, one of the next things I would do on this video right here is I'm going to break the video. I'm going to break this audio down here because it's loud. So when I do that, I bring this down to 5 now. Watch. But you can still hear it in the background. So just different things that you start learning to do when you start actually doing things, when you implement them. And all this stuff is all part of building your brand, getting people to engage with you, getting people to want to know who you are by showing them consistently who you are. And you know, you've got to use these things to figure out how they work. So I don't know. I think this is cool stuff. You guys may not care about it at all or think it's
I think
boring.
it's amazing to see what you're at now versus what you were at a year ago. But let me just ask you this, is if you had waited and said, you know what, I got to have it look like this, and like gone out, bought all the equipment, went out and learned how to do that, would you even be making videos yet?
No.
Like you started out just like recording
because it would have never been right. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you went out, you just started doing stuff, at first. Steamrolled it.
I was scared. At first I was really afraid of, man, I'm going to look stupid. People are going to make fun of me. You know, I'm not going to know what to say. I'm going to say something and somebody's going to disagree with me. So they're going to light me up. And then I'm going to have to, you know, I'm going to have to defend my beliefs. You know what I mean? Or defend anything. And then I realized if I don't start doing it, it's never going to happen. And if I don't start doing it, who cares if people don't like what I do or say something bad about it? The reality is if more people like it, then that's all I'm really looking for. So have I had bad comments? Yeah, I've had people look at my videos and they go, I can't even believe you're doing this. I'm like, doing what? What the hell are you talking about? And the guy was like, you know what I mean? And that's all I got. That's all. And I'm like, what? I don't even know what to say to that, man. Like, are you saying that I'm a work slave on my children? Like, I don't understand what your problem is. But over and over and over again, I get people telling me that their girls look up to my girls, that they watch our videos with the whole family because it inspires them. And I mean, they've seen the girls grow. So for me, it's, you know, that's what Justin's talking about when he said, how do people react to you guys? That after they see those videos over and over and over and over, it's like they know us. You know what I mean? They know all the exciting things. I mean, Haley today, we're going to Disneyland tomorrow because of this and that. We talk about our life. Like if you watch those, you know what we do in our life on a daily basis. That's all I had.
Well, yeah, and just getting out there, getting something started, and yeah, you know what? Somebody is going to find what you say wrong. They're going to find, you know, something bad. It's just going to happen. But if you don't find those few people that don't like what you do, you'll never know what they think would be better. One, and then you're never going to hit those people who are just like super thrilled to be a part of your life. So even the people who aren't really constructive, like they can give you some type of criticism that you can take to, you know, whether, you know, if they like it or not, you can decide what to do with it. But just to have that feedback, you'll never know until you put something out there.
Absolutely. I got a question here from Michael. And if anybody wants to raise their hand real quick and ask any questions, you can. He said, what's a good place to start your initial website? Do you recommend someone build it for you, or should you build it yourself? Which do you recommend?
I recommend building it, like having somebody build it for you. Very similar to like what we just talked about is, you know, you want to get something out there and get something started. The problem is if you try to make it perfect right out of the gate, you're going to spend all the time trying to build a, you know, learn how to build a website. So that's why we do what we do. So we do Toucan websites. We build websites. We work with you in your business to make sure that your website is just a part of a larger piece, and to make sure that that part fits in with that whole piece, and that the flow goes smoothly.
And well, and the other thing is it's not over once the website's built. Now the content, all the posts, everything else, that's where the real challenge will come in, is, you know, making sure that all that stuff works right. And actually Justin and I are working on putting together a video, I don't know, what would you call a video training series that you guys can get into if you're interested in how to build WordPress sites better, how to do all this stuff. So let's say you do have, you know, Justin, you know, and here's the thing, you can build it yourself. I mean, you can absolutely, the whole series will show you how to build the website if you want to build the website. And if you want to learn how to do it and have it take time, because my God, it will consume you like you have no idea to get this under wraps. But if you want to build it, then build it. And it'll just take a little bit longer, right? If you have Justin build it, he can at least start it for you, get it all nice and clean looking, and then you can take over from there and alter it, change it, update it. And that's the relationship that I have with Justin. When I don't know how to do something,
adding content,
I
am
am
trying to develop it out. Because man, you know, I've been programming for like 6 years, and you know, even when I took on WordPress, it took me a while to pick it up and figure all of that stuff out. If you're not a developer, if you're not into computers, it can be daunting. And that said, like if you're like, I just don't have the money for it. I don't have money for hosting. I don't have money, the $10 for the domain name. What can I do to just get started? I would say go on to YouTube and just start recording videos and posting them to YouTube.
What about like Google Blogger too? Because now you got Google tie into Google.
I would actually probably do Google Plus. Do that over Blogger.
There you go. Yeah. But I mean, it's a way to get it in there free. Anybody else have any questions? Page. Go ahead.
You could also do a Facebook page and get that started. That'd be a place to start putting information, and then put your money into advertising on Facebook and get people to like your page and start interacting. The problem is every time you do something on Facebook, you actually have to pay them so people can see your content. So
let's do that next. Let's time when we do our event next week or next month. Let's go ahead and create an ad for Coast to Coast while we're live and while we're doing it. We can create a couple different posts and actually go through it and show them how to do it live with my account, and that way we can post it, and then they can see the reactions, and we can run it for 2 weeks, and then when we do the next webinar, we can look through the results.
That's sweet,
right?
Yeah. So what we should do is we should do 2. Because whenever you do marketing, you should be doing 2. It's split testing. This is what it looks like.
I keep seeing that. What does that mean?
Split testing is I'm going to make 2 things that are nearly identical, and I'm going to change the color of the submit button, or I'm going to change like one word in the text of the anchor. And so what you're doing is you're saying it's so close, but this is the one difference. And that one difference, you can see, like, from 3% change to 20 to 30% change. You're like, well, man, I don't ever want to do that first one again. I'm going to do it this way. And you're like, okay, now I'm going to change something else and make that a little bit different, and then see what happens there.
Oh, so you slowly filter to the perfect lead
page. The perfect ad.
That's what they mean.
You do the same thing with your website. You do the same thing with your opt-in form. You just look at the numbers. You're like, okay, my opt-in form is here. It's always the size, but this one's a blue button. This one's a yellow button. Yellow button gets more. Okay, well, I'm going to use a yellow button. Now I'm going to change the text on the button. Instead of subscribe, it's going to say download now. And you're like, wow, download now is way more converting. So I'm going to use that. Okay, I have this image and I have this image. Which one do people like? It's kind of like, you ever been to the optometrist? They put the thing on you and then like,
okay,
yeah, which one is better? Okay, now I'm going to turn it this way and this
right, backwards, forward.
Exactly like that.
Okay, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, it never ends. You just continue to do it.
All right, guys. Well, right on. I'm so glad. Did you have fun, Justin?
Every time.
Okay, good. Because I had fun. I had a lot of fun. In fact, I want everybody to know. Oh, man. All right. Well, that's not going to work. So winning won't be a habit tonight. It usually is. That sucks, man. I don't know what is going on with this thing, but this. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for, I'll go ahead and reset that. Thank you so much for being on the call tonight, or webinar tonight with Justin and I. I hope you guys had a great time. Please make sure you share what we're talking about. Please make sure you share the webinar. If you gain something from it, talk about us on Facebook, talk about us on YouTube, talk about us on Facebook. I already said that. Talk about us on Twitter is what I meant to say. But share the information. We're giving it away for free. Help us reach more people, please. And with that, I'm good to go, man. You're good?
I'm great.
All right,
guys. Have a great night.
Have a great night. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next